back-to-back road win sees North Dakota State at 9-0. A record-setting offensive performance at Youngstown State has NDSU racing to the finish line in first place of the Missouri Valley Football Conference. The Herd returns home this week to host Western Illinois for the Harvest Bowl for the second time. The first time was in 2015, and the Harvest helmets weren't the only memory created that day. The Bison look to improve their winning streak to 31 games, and it starts now on the KVLY KFAR Bison Football Network.
This is the Farmers Union Insurance Bison Football Pre-Game Show.
Oh, it feels so good to be home. The Bison back home in the Fargo Dome. Hello and welcome into the Farmers Union Insurance Bison Football Pregame Show. Alex Egan, Kyle Emanuel, Beth Hool here with you for the next 60 minutes as we get set for North Dakota State and Western Illinois. And that was a pretty fun road trip, if you will, for the Bison.
Well, they certainly had some fun. Lots of trips to the end zone, to say the least. Just continuing to be surprised. I just expected so many closer games in the Valley this year, I think, and the Bison continue. Whether it was Illinois State, Youngstown State, two teams that I certainly have a lot of respect for over the last several years in the Missouri Valley, and they just keep putting it away on these teams and really having their way with them.
Well, and you look at Youngstown State, Illinois State, Northern Iowa, those are two really good teams, or three really good teams in the Valley, and the Bison completely handled them, especially on the road. That's pretty impressive to me. So it's good, though, to be back in the Dome, and I'm sure these guys are excited to be back here as well.
It's been an exciting week for the Bison, and we talk about individual awards. Not many individual awards have been handed out to this Bison team, this Bison program over the last decade. In fact, we're looking at the only one that's gotten individual awards.
Crazy, right?
NDSU fans will remember Jamal Spencer. He and I were talking this week with the former sports director at KVLY, and he asked me, outside of Kyle Emanuel, who's the last one to win an individual award? And I said, well,
Kyle
no one.
Yeah.
Which makes no sense to me because, I mean, obviously
Easton got jobbed last year. He got robbed.
Right,
he was
I'm
robbed.
very honored and humbled to have won that award. But like when you look at all the individuals, obviously NDSU's had really good teams. You look at some of the individuals who have come through in this run, and the fact that you win 7 national championships, like I don't see how there hasn't been someone else. But actually, I do know why. It's because they look at stats. All they do is look at numbers. They do not look at impact games, and that's why it's been tough sledding for
I
NDSU
completely
guys.
agree with you. I think the team depth has been what is really taken away from any individual success that NDSU has been able to garner, because these individual players, while they're outstanding, everybody keeps going, well, yeah, but you would be great if you were Nick DeLuca, if you had Jabril Cox on the other side. Of course, you're outstanding as Easton Stick when you have Darius Shepard and RJ Urzendowski to throw to. So I think it diminishes that success just because they're so deep. And I think there's a NDSU factor as well. I think people are like, they're going to get the national championship.
Little Bison fatigue.
Not
Do they
fair.
really need
Anyway, so the reason we bring this up is because Trey Lance has been nominated for both the National Freshman of the Year and the National Player of the Year. He's on the Jerry Rice Award watch list. He was added to that this week, and then he was also added to the Walter Payton Award watch list this week. And Trey's had himself a pretty phenomenal redshirt freshman campaign. He is very much in the discussion for both of those awards.
And it's worth mentioning that he's the only freshman nominated for Offensive Player of the Year this year, and I think that says a lot about the respect that he's garnered already.
Yeah, it really does. And I think if you look at the Jerry Rice Award, I think he has to win it. I just think what he's done for this team, the number one team in the country, the teams that they have beat, how efficient he has been, he has to win. I think he has to win that award. I mean, obviously, coming down the stretch, that's going to factor in a lot to it. But I'm a little pessimistic when it comes to Walter Payton. Just because he is a freshman. His stats are really good, but they're not, like, especially throwing the ball, they're not going to be at the top of the country. So that's where I think, and I'm not a voter, I would vote for him, but that's where I think, voters are going to look at guys in weaker conferences and say, oh, they have more passing yards. I'm going to vote for this guy.
As tradition has shown.
Yeah, it seems like that is what the trend is. Look at the passing yards numbers. There's also somebody on the defensive side, a guy who knows a thing or two about the Buck Buchanan Award. Derek Tuska has been put on the watch list for that this year, and Derek having a phenomenal season. He joins Jabril Cox, who was already on that list this year. So now the Bison have two guys on the watch list for the Buck Buchanan Award.
Yeah, and I think there's no one more deserving than Derek Tuska to be added to this list. I actually, fun fact, was not on the list either. When I won the award, I was not on the list going into the season. But there was someone from the NDSU football team that was on the preseason Buck Buchanan Award watch list. Can either of you name I'll give you a hint.
I struggle with the years.
Actually, I won't give you a hint, but it was 2014.
Thank you.
I was going to give
but
you.
I forget
Wow.
who else was
What
on
a hint.
2014.
Well, I'll just go ahead and tell everyone. It was Colton Hegel, the Bison safety. He was on the.
Is this
the,
fun for you
yeah,
to
it was
say
fun.
this?
Well, I asked Jeff and Jeremy on the radio show the same question, and they didn't know it either. So you guys shouldn't feel too bad.
Well, the Bison are 9-0 now. They've been working their way through Missouri Valley football competition. As we take a look at the conference standings, it's crowded at the top and then not so great down there at the bottom, which is where they find their opponent today down there at the bottom, coming off of their first win of the season. They just beat South Dakota last week, did Western Illinois. But you look at those top 5 or 6 teams, those are all potential playoff teams right now. And if Youngstown State wins out, you'd have to include them in the conversation too as an 8-4 team in the playoffs. We'll get to the committee rankings, but what do you guys make so far as we're getting down to the end of the playoff or the conference season here?
You know, I'll just repeat what Matt N said this week. Western Illinois is the same record as NDSU, and they're 1-0 this week, coming off a win. So.
Yeah, when I look at the Valley, and I think you're right, Alex. I think there could be a lot of teams that still have a lot to play for in these last couple of weeks. I think Southern Illinois is a team you have to look at that might. They don't even have to beat NDSU, in my opinion, to make the playoffs. They should still have a good case for it. So you're kind of seeing the cream rise of the crop here, but there's a lot left to be played in these last couple of weeks, and we're going to find out a lot.
Yeah, we certainly will. Let's go down to the field. The guys who will be on the call today: Ryan Gelner, Brian Sean, Lee Timmerman. They join us. Hey guys, happy Football Saturday to you.
Hi, Alex. Happy Football Saturday to you guys as well. The Bison and the Leathernecks. And like they talked about, Lee, we'll start with you. There is a lot to play for every team in the conference. We hear it all the time. The Missouri Valley Football Conference, if you can survive that, make yourself playoff eligible, you're set up for some good things to happen.
Well, I think, it's no secret the big game today is the battle for second, because whoever wins that contest today really sets themselves up, I think, for a much more favorable playoff position once we get past the next couple of weeks.
Teams have started to separate, but Lee's right. There's some room where some teams really need to make some moves in the final 3 weeks.
And I really think right now the 3 teams that have separated a little bit are South Dakota State, North Dakota State, and Northern Iowa. And I think next week when Northern Iowa goes to Brookings, that's going to be for a playoff seed. That's the game that I think is going to matter the most. But here's another interesting fact for North Dakota State. Since 2011, they have played exactly 8 conference games without being at least having a share of first place. Think about that. They've been in first place for all but 8 conference games they've played in the last 8 years. That is a remarkable statistic. The last time they weren't in first, 2016 for 2 weeks.
For 2 weeks.
For 2 weeks is all. Then they earned it back.
And North Dakota State, the remarkable thing, and we've talked about this for years, they continue to play well, but they continue to win games when they need to win games when games matter.
That's because they're the best running team. Well, they don't have the most yards, I guess, per game rushing, but I'm still going to call them the best running team in the country. And I like how Tyler Roll says our goal is a simple one, to be the most physical football team in the country. And I don't think you can argue that point, that they haven't been to this point in the game, or this point in the season. And when you can run the ball as consistently as NDSU has, you're going to win a lot of games, especially late.
3 weeks to go for the Bison. They have set themselves up well, exactly where they want to be.
And I think everybody now has the experience they need to make this stretch run. This offensive line is playing well for the most part. Knock on wood wherever you can find it. The team has avoided catastrophic injuries. Garrett Malmstrom getting healthier, hopefully get him back next week. Zach Mathis hopefully start running here soon as well and get him down the stretch. You know, this is a team that hopefully you can get healthier and maybe take some reps off some guys throughout the next 3 weeks if you can take care of business in the first half.
The national pollsters say North Dakota State, James Madison, and everybody else, guys.
Yeah, that's pretty much what we saw when the FCS committee released their rankings this week. Thanks, guys. We'll check back in with those guys later on in the show. But let's take a look at the FCS committee top 10. This is from the selection committee. They revealed this week. It is NDSU at the top, James Madison, Weber State with a big game today, out in Ogden, Utah, SDSU, Sacramento State. You go on and on down the list there. There's still some games between some of these teams that need to be figured out today. Anything that strikes you quickly.
Yeah, I think it was actually a pretty competent list, which is it's kind of a surprise for me when you look at the committee. I think New Hampshire at 10 is a little bit of a question
I
mark.
think that's the one everybody kind of had the biggest issue
Yeah,
with.
but when you look at the top, I feel like to me it's the top 8 and then it's everyone else.
Yeah.
You know, Gellner said the top 2 and everyone else. I think the top 8 is really good, and then after that you see some fall off. Illinois State is a decent team we've seen, but I still don't believe in Brady Davis as a quarterback. But I think it was actually, they were pretty spot on for the most part.
Absolutely. Well, we are inside here in the Fargo Dome, and I cannot tell you how thankful we are for that, because they played outdoors the last couple days.
You know, I thought it was kind of warm outside
The
today.
weather outside in Fargo is
It's above
frightful, as they
freezing.
say. Oh, I don't know about that. And we joined.
I agree.
Yeah.
Mike Morgan was brave enough to go out into the tailgate lot. He's got our tailgate report. Mike?
All right, we're out here in the tailgate section. It's a beautiful day. A lot of folks out here, and we want to thank Big Irvs for sponsoring our gift cards that we're giving away during the trivia. And we've got 2 contestants who are going to play, and they've got certainly a lot of supporters here, and that is very good. And young and not so young. Speaking of which, your name?
Tyler.
Tyler, are you ready to play? We're playing for $50 gift cards from Big Irvs. Here's the first question. What Bison player this year has the longest rush at 75 yards and the longest kickoff return at 94 yards? Is it Kobe Johnson or Ty Brooks? Anybody know here?
Any help?
Any help? Any help? Any help?
Kobe Johnson.
Yeah, I guess you're playing.
Kobe Johnson.
Kobe Johnson. Do you think he's right? Yes. He is right. He is right. Very good, and there's your gift card. You knew that, though, didn't you? Okay.
Thanks, Kenzie.
All right. We've got another contestant, too, and she's got a cute little kid. What's your name?
Gayanne.
And who's this?
This is Jaden.
Oh, Jaden. How old is Jaden?
4 months old.
Oh, a Bison fan through, though.
She is.
All
yes.
right, here we go. Grandma, you're going to play. The Bison and the Leathernecks meet this weekend. Which team did NDSU play last year during the Harvest Bowl? Is it Youngstown State or Southern Illinois? You can ask the crowd.
Can I phone a friend?
You can phone. Okay. What do you guys think? Is it Youngstown State or Southern Illinois?
Youngstown.
We'll go Youngstown.
You're going to go with Youngstown?
Yes.
That's a good choice, because that's who it is. You win. There's your gift card. Okay. All right. Thanks so much for playing. That's how easy it is here out in the tailgate section. And we'll be back with more in just a few moments.
All right, thank you very much, Mike. We have so much more to come here on the Farmers Union Insurance Bison Football Pregame Show. It is the Harvest Bowl, the Harvest helmets, the yellow tops. That's all coming up. We still have plenty more to come. Please stick around with us as we continue on here from the Fargo Dome.
Welcome back out to the Farmers Union Insurance Bison Football Pregame Show. You know, the NDSU football family is a tight-knit group, and I had the opportunity to see that firsthand last weekend at a Bison Football Players Association fundraiser for one of their own.
Once a Bison, always a Bison. You've heard it time and time again, but it's more than just a catchy phrase. For these former Bison football players that fill herd and horns on a Saturday night, it's a promise.
We talk about it all the time, but like when push comes to shove, people just show up for the Bison. You know, it really is a deep tradition, and this BFPA group's been huge, just, you know, at least allowing us a platform to come together.
The BFPA, or Bison Football Players Association, was created for Bison football alums by Bison football alums. And it all started when they saw one of their own in need.
One of the reasons we created the BFPA is because of Kerry Crimmins. He's my teammate. Kerry passed away at the age of 40, and he was one of the toughest guys I've ever met in my life. And but he was also one of the sweetest guys. And you know, when Kerry passed away, his family, they were struggling. Kerry's one of the toughest guys we've ever seen, but their family needs help.
And last week, another brother was in need. Jeff McKinnon is fighting cancer for the second time in 2 years, and the BFPA came together once again to offer support for him and his family.
It's crazy. I mean, you kind of just look around, and it's cool to see that everyone's coming out here just to help our brother out. Who, you know, devastating for Jeff, you know, beating it and then having to come back. But you know, all us brothers are here for him. Again, you know, we'll do that every time we need to, and whatever he needs.
We're not the kind of people, generally speaking, who are going to reach out and ask for help. and that's exactly the type of people that we are. But as a BFPA board, that's exactly what we want our members to recognize. You don't have to be that way, and we're here for you. You don't have to be tough the rest of your life, and you may be in your everyday life, but when you're talking about things like cancer with Jeff, or we're talking about something like Carrie's family losing Carrie at the age of 40, people need help.
No one knows that more so than Chase Morlock. The former Bison lost his dad to cancer his senior season, and the Bison family supported him and his family through the tough times.
It's a lot better when you have brothers behind you. I know that just with my dad, just having people that are there, knowing they're thinking of you, knowing they're praying for you, it goes a long way. Just those small things, they mean a lot.
But the BFPA has continued to support him after he left that locker room.
You're so used to being with the team all the time. You're used to being surrounded by 100 guys that'll do anything for you. And when you walk out of the locker room, you're like, crap, I hope that's not over. I need that support. So I think this is a really special group that not a lot of schools have. And when you do get done, it's just like, all right, we still got a team. We're still here to help each other through life. And it's a group that's not going anywhere. Like I said, you take a look around. We're here to help you through anything.
Chase Morlock adding there that he probably couldn't have gotten his gym up without the support of so many of the people in the Bison Football Players Association, saying the advice professionally, personally, marriage advice, faith-based, whatever it is, there's somebody in that group that can help you through whatever you're going through in life.
Yeah, it's such an awesome group, and I had the honor of wearing their cleats actually last year in the NFL for my cause, my cleats. I got to represent BFPA, which was awesome for me. But we talk about, you said it in your open, Beth, but you talk about, Bison football being a family, and once a Bison, always a Bison. Well, those are just sayings, but when a group like this kind of shows that, like, we live this out. And, like, when you are a player and you play for this team, like, it's so much more. Players talk about playing for the guys who came before them. That's something you do on the field. Now you get into a situation once you're done, and now you have a group like this to help you out off the field.
If you do want to donate to help McKinnon, you can go to his Caring Bridge site. They've got a link to be able to donate. BFPA not actually able to collect funds for him except for at this fundraiser. So if you want to find his Caring Bridge site, we also have a link on valleynewslive.com if you're looking for a little bit of help to get in touch with him.
What an awesome organization. We'll turn our attention to the football game at hand here today. Western Illinois coming to the Fargo Dome. The last time that they were here, the Bison embarrassed them, quite frankly. It was not a great day for the Leathernecks. So let's learn a little bit more about what they bring to the table today. We have Ryan Gellner standing by with the voice of the Leathernecks.
Yeah, thank you guys. Danny Fry is the play-by-play voice at Western Illinois, and we just talked about a challenging year, but you got off the schneid last week, got a win. You said a little bit of a breath of fresh air.
There was. It was just a big sigh of relief. Went and pulled off the win, and now got some positive momentum to work on.
Now you roll into North Dakota State, the top-ranked team in the country. Never easy to come into the Fargo Dome. What does the team think this week?
Well, they're going to embrace the underdog role, and Western goes in every week thinking that they can win the game, and something that Coach Elliott really preached is that this is an incredible opportunity. I mean, how many times does a team get a chance to play the top team in the nation and the reigning national champion? Not many, so they're going to really try to make the most of this opportunity.
Connor Sampson, the Western Illinois quarterback, really had a day last week. Threw it 50 times, 31 completions, almost 400 yards, couple of touchdowns. He can wing it.
He really can, and it's going to be a quick 1, 2, 3 throw. And he has his targets. He knows what's going on, and Connor really has developed well throughout the season.
Defensively, the big question for everybody is, how do you slow down North Dakota State?
And with Western, it's going to be, kind of that box, that front four. They're going to try to get to him, going to try to stop everything at the line of scrimmage. And when Trey Lance does go to the air, Western's aware that he hasn't thrown an interception yet. Secondary, just try to keep everybody in front of you.
Have a wonderful call. Thanks for taking us up on the Leathernecks a little bit, and enjoy the game today.
Of course, thanks. I appreciate it.
Back to you guys.
All right, thank you very much, Ryan. Let's take a look at the series history between these two, and it is brief, only the 11th time that the two have met, but NDSU has owned the series over the last several years, winning 6 straight. But what's interesting there, the teams have split the 4 previous matchups here in Fargo, so that's a very interesting stat. Not anticipating 1-8 Western Illinois this year to do that.
That date's a long time ago.
They have put up some good. I've mentioned it before, though. When we played in my senior year, we won the national championship that year. They put up a really good fight. Now, granted, that was down in Macomb, but it's a little easier to play in the Dome than it is in Macomb, Illinois.
Do you need me to brush the dust off your shoulder there?
Yes.
We won a national championship that year.
Well, in case people forgot. I didn't know.
So kind of.
Let's take a look at the quarterbacks that will be featured in today's matchup. And we see Trey Lance, the wonderful redshirt freshman for the Bison, going up against Connor Sampson. Let's take a look at Trey's numbers first, and they have been nothing short of spectacular. It's a reason why he's on the Jerry Rice Award watch list and the Walter Payton Award watch list. I'll direct your attention to the one number that I'm not going to say, and it's 0 next to something, but that's all I'm going to say. If you have wood, please knock on it.
And that's
it's been a wonderful start of the season.
Yeah,
for him.
that's the most impressive stat to me, and because that kind of couples with his efficiency and how good he has been throwing the ball and just kind of guiding this offense. We talked about it earlier when we talked about the watch list. So he doesn't have the greatest passing numbers. He has really good completion percentage. That's because he doesn't need to throw the ball, but he has been so effective running the ball. That quarterback run game really hasn't been stopped much this entire year, and there's a big reason why they won the South Dakota State game.
Yeah, he's got almost 600 rushing yards, and when we take a look at who Western Illinois is going to run out there, Connor Sampson, he does not have almost 600 rushing yards. In fact, he does not even have close to 0. I have more rushing yards than Connor Sampson does, which is impressive to say the least. But he does throw the football a little bit. They like to go fast on offense, and he's at 9 touchdowns to 5 interceptions this year.
That took me a second.
Okay, we're there. All right,
that took me a second.
Come on, Beth.
I'm tired. It's an early workout this morning.
Yeah, okay. All right, that's enough on the Western Illinois quarterback. Let's get into our fun series, the Pick'em. This week, I think we got a little crazy. The time change might have affected a few things. Let's take a look at what we did last week.
Got a little crazy.
What we did last week, Kyle going 3-3. Beth, I believe you also went. Oh no, Beth with 4-2.
Yes.
I
Thank
also
you very
went
much.
3-3. Beth picking up as we take a look at our season standings here. Kyle, you and Beth are tied at 13-8. I still hold the lead here at 15-6, but
Not
that may not be the case after this week. We get into our picks this week. We are also picking these Missouri Valley Football Conference games. Missouri State at Southern Illinois.
I'm going Southern Illinois. I think they're a hot team right now. I'm going Southern.
Yeah, I've got Missouri State on this one. Just think there's too much pressure on Southern Illinois right now. I think they're going to falter.
I think Southern Illinois is a playoff team, and I think they, in order to hold that premonition to be true, they need to win this game. So I'm taking Southern Illinois. Next up on the docket, we've got South Dakota State at Illinois State, and here's where I think the time change got the better of me when I was making these picks.
Well, this is a fun one, but like I said earlier, I don't trust Brady Davis. I don't like picking South Dakota State, but they are a good team. I'm going South Dakota State.
Yeah, once again going against my heart and picking SDSU because sometimes the brain wins out. Alex?
Yeah, I think I was tired, and then so I took Illinois State.
I don't think Illinois State's a bad pick in this one.
I'm not
This
sure.
is battle for second place.
Yeah, sure, all right. Yeah, thanks for making me feel better about that one. All right, next up we've got Youngstown State at South Dakota. Youngstown State on their third-string quarterback because Bison knocked out 2 of theirs last week.
I'm done picking South Dakota on this year. I'm going with Youngstown State.
Yeah, I think Youngstown State has this one. I think they're going to run the ball. Bo Pelini's defense, I think they probably got a talking to or two.
Yeah, they got a little bounce back.
Yeah.
I think the Yotes are going to be upset giving a win to Western Illinois last week, so I'm taking South Dakota
That's fair.
at home.
Is that what you're going with?
That's the only justification I can make. Okay, next up, we've got Indiana State and Northern Iowa. I don't think we need to spend too much time here.
Pretty easy one here, Northern Iowa.
Yeah, you and I.
Northern Iowa is probably going to win this one pretty easily. And then, of course, we've got a couple big national games that we're going to pick. Penn State at Minnesota, and last time I checked this was not a good pick for us here.
Yeah, I went Penn State. I'm not a fan of the Gophers, but they might be legit. They looked good.
They did look good.
I'm going with Minnesota
yeah,
on
Beth
this
looks
one.
smart here. Beth looking smart.
I look smart. I look smart. Would you like to rephrase that?
Looking smarter with this pick.
I am smart.
It is 31-19 currently.
Yeah, it's
so
rough. Okay, Penn State.
well done,
is who I
Beth.
took. And then coming up in the same time this game kicks off, it's number 1 versus number 2 in the FBS. LSU and Alabama, I guess, if you're looking at the college football playoff, it's 2 and 3. But
everyone's doubting Alabama, which is exactly why I'm picking them. They're at home. I'm going with Crimson Tide.
I'm going LSU, you guys. I made a lot of movement in these pick'em standings last week by
fading us. Yeah.
You might do it again. You might do it again
I'm
this
going LSU.
Smart move. I don't know if Tua plays. I think he's supposed to, but without Tua, Alabama has no chance. With Tua, it's a game. I'm still taking LSU in this one. And then Kyle, your pick for this one.
This is a tough one because much like Missouri State, it could be a blowout. It could be a little bit closer than everyone thinks. So I still think NDSU gets it done. I think they learned from that Missouri State game. They're going to play well. I want 45-7 Bison.
That's probably a pretty fair prediction there.
Yeah.
All right.
Knows, but
we
we'll
will
see.
Step aside. We come back. We'll get some more for you here from the Fargo Dome as we are getting set for North Dakota State and Western Illinois here on the Farmers Union Insurance Bison Football Pregame Show.
Don't get on your tippy toes, bro. Come on. I'm gonna let you know every question you ask is gonna be me is the best. I'm just gonna let you know for it.
That's me.
Easy. Come on now. We're not gonna like, a lot of these.
My 40 time is faster than his.
I had the fastest time in camp this year.
I haven't ran my fastest in camp. I'll tell you that right now. Leave his mouth.
Jabril.
He believes anything.
Jabril. Brillo.
I don't use my phone on the toilet. Just so you know.
Streaks, that's all I gotta say.
Okay, we doing that. Okay, we doing that. All right, let's go. Oh, me easy. Come on, Swaggy. You see me on the field. I gotta say mine.
I'll give it to him.
I know.
Brillo.
Yeah.
Brillo. Brillo. I don't pull pranks. I don't do the pranks.
I'm not a joker. I'm a realist.
I ain't brushed my hair in a couple of days, but the waves is still there.
I ain't never wear a brush. Just me. No gimmicks. Just me.
If you like beards, you would pick him, but to be honest, it goes, you know.
And it's red.
Some people like it clean, you know. Him.
I'm texting.
Brillo.
I don't want to say what I want to say.
Look, fan favorite is Jabril. That's all I gotta say. Fan favorite is Jabril. He got his jersey issues.
They got an interception in the championship game.
Fan favorite.
2017. Just like, you know. I think I can sing a little bit.
I sing better than him, so that can't be his hidden talent. If you want to hear
it. Prove it. Prove it.
What you want to say? Hold on. Baby.
Baby, I just...
All right, come on. You start this.
Baby, I just don't get it.
Do you enjoy being hurt?
I know you smell the perfume.
The makeup on his shirt.
You don't believe in stories.
You know that there are lies.
As bad as you are.
You stick around.
And I just don't know why.
If I was your man,
baby, you
never worry about
what I do.
I'll be coming home
back to you
every night,
doing you right.
You're the type of woman
deserves good things.
Fist full of diamonds,
hand full of rain.
Baby, you're a star.
I just wanna show you are.
You should let me love you.
Let me be the one to
show.
Oh,
I'm messing.
You're good.
Welcome back inside the Fargo Dome, the Farmers Union Insurance Bison Football Pregame Show. North Dakota State getting set to take on Western Illinois. Let's go down to the field. Ryan Gelner standing by with our Sanford Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Injury Report.
Just kidding. Hey guys, we'll skip the injury report and go to Kyle Emanuel, who joins me for How It's Done. And one of the things that Western Illinois likes to do is run the jet sweep. So first of all, let's take you through what the jet sweep is offensively.
Yeah, let's just show it real quick. I'll be the quarterback because I am the leader of this segment. No, I'm kidding. Ryan has the better speed is what he told me, so he's going to be my jet sweep guy. So you'll see this a lot. It can come from a running back. It's normally a wide receiver. It's going to be on at the snap of the ball. You're going to get one of these.
I'm coming in motion.
Yeah, I'm going to motion Ryan. The ball's going to be snapped, and then it's either a fake or a handoff. It can be a play action. You can have pulling guards. There's a lot that can go into a jet sweep, and you'll see teams do it a lot of times.
Western loves to run it. They love to run it because they like to get that quick pass out. So if you fake it or you run it, if you fake it, there's so many quick options off of that play. But on defense, that's really what this segment's going to be about. Defensively, it's really important, I would assume, that you keep your eyes on that football.
Absolutely, and that's why you do it, and that's why you a lot of times teams will get in the gun, they'll pull people, they'll have a running back, and you'll see Western. I've seen Western do this on film. They'll bring the running back as a jet sweep motion. They'll have motion over a tight end. He'll do kind of a jet sweep motion. Obviously, he's not faking it. So there's a lot of different things. And you heard Jackson Henke talk about it this week, but it's all about eye control and discipline and knowing where you have to be on your assignment. They do this because they're trying to get you to mess up, right? Because there's a lot of movement before the snap. You have to know your assignments beforehand, but when people start moving, now things can change, and that's when it gets difficult as a defender.
But that's what it's all about. It's all about tricking the defense.
It is, and you're going to see them do it. They're going to run the ball. They're going to play action off of it. And your eyes have to be really good as a defender. You have to know your job, and if you do get caught in a play action pass, you have to get to your zone drops, and you have to get out there and make it happen defensively.
Alex and Beth, watch for the jet sweep today.
Yeah, we'll keep our eyes on that. And speaking of a jet sweep, we're going to have to give Ryan a little bit of time here to jet sweep his way over to catch up with Dr. Bruce Pyatt from Sanford Orthopedics and Sports Medicine. Always fun to learn a little bit, though, about the game of football with Kyle Emanuel.
I have so appreciated those segments. I mean, I first and foremost enjoy the conversations and just being able to pick his brain, but especially on those little segments right there, being able to just learn a little bit more and kind of the way the defense thinks as well, because I think it's super interesting.
All right, now I think that Ryan has made his way over to Dr. Bruce Pyatt, and now we have our Sanford Orthopedics and Sports Medicine injury report.
Hi guys, Dr. Bruce Pyatt is here with us this week, and Dr. Pyatt, this week we're talking about as we get later in the season, muscles, they start to get sore. There's other injuries on the body where you see some compensation. My question to you, later in the season, do you see more injuries just because it's later in the season?
Well, we know that anytime that the body's fatigued, you're more prone to having some type of injury event with it. You know, you can see that even within a game. Early in the game, they're less likely to have groin strains, hamstring injuries, cramping, all those kind of things that go on. It goes on as the game goes.
So is it more of a conditioning thing through the season? Is it just bad luck? Or how do you avoid some of those injuries that'll happen later in games, later in the season?
Well, there's two things around that. You know, a lot of the work that's done in the off season with their strength and conditioning program is going to help to prevent those type of things. The more that you have strength, the more you have flexibility associated with that, then the less likely you are. But you're still going to be at risk no matter who you are and how well conditioned you are. So you'll watch. Even the coaches understand that, and the type of practice that they're running in the early part of the season is going to be very different than the end of the season. They're not as worried about conditioning. They're more worried about kind of letting the body recover, let it rest each time.
How about as the team doctor, your worries any higher this late in the season?
Oh, I don't know that it's any higher worry. I think we're always worried about events and injuries. The most catastrophic stuff typically is going to be the acute event that occurs anyways. The stuff that occurs with more of the that occurs with fatigue is going to be, even though it can be limiting to the athlete, it's probably not going to be a catastrophic thing. So we're always worried about what's happening. Maybe a little bit more of a challenge to get them back on the field with some of these things that are repetitive, though.
He is the winningest doctor in the FCS. Thanks, Doc.
I still wonder if that's fake news. So
we're going with it. Back to you guys.
All right, thank you very much, guys. We take a look at the guys who will not be in today. James Kaiser will be out with an injury. Garrett Malmstrom getting better, but will not go today for NDSU. Stick around. We got so much more to come here from the Fargo Dome. Our keys to the game. That's next here on the Farmers Union Insurance Bison Football Pregame Show.
This is the Farmers Union Insurance Bison Football Pregame Show.
All right, we're back out here in the tailgate section, and these folks behind me are quiet now, but they were giggling just a little bit earlier. I've got two contestants, and they're ready to play. One of them's nervous, but that's all right because we're playing for a $50 gift card to Big Herbs. That's pretty good. All right. Your name, please?
Judy Paulson.
Judy, here we go. Ready?
Yep.
Randy Hedberg is the associate head coach and quarterbacks coach for NDSU. What college did Randy graduate from? Is it Minot State or Valley City State?
Minot.
Minot State, she says. Is she correct? Yeah. She's correct. Very good, very good. Here's your $50 gift card.
Bless you.
That's how easy it is. Now we turn to the nervous one. This is the easiest question I'm going to give you.
Okay, good.
What's your name?
Pat Moss.
Now we get to the tough one.
Okay.
Pat, how many touchdown passes has Trey Lance thrown this year so far? Is it 19 or 23? Ooh, they're not sure. 19.
Okay, I'll go 19.
Are you
20, 23?
No, you have to say one of the two. 19 or 23.
Steve, what do you say? I'll go 19.
I'm glad you did, because that's the correct answer. Steve wave back there. Steve wave. He helped out. All right, thanks for playing, ladies, and thanks for watching, and we'll be back here next game with more tailgate trivia.
Hey, Mike, welcome back inside the Fargo Dome. Trey Lance with 19 touchdowns already. It's impressive, Brian.
Yeah, not only that, he's also run for 8. So I think that's the other part, what this guy has done without making any critical mistakes in his freshman season as a starter. First year, he's already set the career mark for most pass attempts without an interception. So I think that, to me, is what's been most impressive, is him not forcing things that aren't there.
Have you been impressed? Everybody's impressed, but have you been impressed at how quickly he's gotten it, whatever it is?
Well, I'm not for this reason, because I have a lot of conversations with Randy Hedberg. I love talking with Randy, and sometimes we get around and we talk about some football, actually. And before fall camp actually started, so late summer, we were having a conversation, and I asked Coach Hedberg, I says, mentally, where is he at? And all Randy said is, he gets it. Yep. He's ready. He's ready mentally. And so, when Coach Hedberg says something like that, you trust it, and you believe that he obviously knows what he's talking about. So, no, I'm not surprised, simply because of what his position coach has told me over the last couple of months.
Let's get into our keys to the football game for this game against Western Illinois. And it starts with this building and the energy inside this building. Coach talked a lot about it this week, Brian. The Dome has to have energy. Sometimes the Bison have to create it themselves.
Yeah, I think that was one of those things last week, Matt, is like, I knew our guys were ready to go. The energy on the sideline was unlike anything we had the previous few weeks. So he goes, if I could bottle that up and have that other weeks, I think we'd be in really good shape. But this is the first home game since mid-October, so I think the fans will be out here and be ready to go, because there are only 2 more guaranteed games here at the Dome here in the regular season.
It is the deer opener. If you're out finding your deer or have already got your deer, congratulations and good luck. Let's talk about the pass defense. It's key number 2, and we put that up there because the Leathernecks, they like to throw it around.
Well, yeah, Sampson had his biggest day last week in the win. You see the numbers right there, the 368 yards. We had to throw it 50 times. The one thing that they do passing-wise, it's 1, 2, 3 throw. I mean, it is out in a hurry, and I think a lot of that has to do with self-preservation. The offensive line isn't very good, so if Sampson's doing 5-step drops, he's getting clobbered. But also, Ryan, his long passes have been short with runs, so they don't go down the field very often.
Protect yourself at all costs. I think that's what you said. Finally, it's takeaways, Brian. That's our key number 3 for today, and it is what it is for NDSU. They've had 9 interceptions, 4 fumble recoveries on the season.
And they've done a good job taking care of the football. One of the 5 best in the FCS in turnover margin. And Western Illinois, that has been their issue. They have 20 turnovers this year, 10 fumbles lost, 10 interceptions. When you're averaging almost 2.5 turnovers per game, you don't have a lot of chances to win, and that's why they're 1-8 so far.
Those are our Dakota Magic and Casino keys to the football game. We're 18 minutes away from kickoff here at the Fargo Dome. When we come back, we talk to the Bison head coach, Matt Ansey, joins us in just a little bit as our pregame show rolls on. Welcome back inside the Fargo Dome. It's Western Illinois and North Dakota State. The Bison have won 30 straight games, and they are encroaching on a record at the FCS level, that is, of 33 straight games, a record the Bison themselves hold from 2012 to 2014. That opens up this week's Inside the Herd and Herdline News. Freshman Kobe Johnson was named the Missouri Valley Football Conference Special Teams Player of the Week this week by the league office. He had a 94-yard kickoff return for a touchdown against Youngstown last week. KJ also notched his second career 100-yard game, 6 carries, 103 yards, and a 75-yard touchdown. On the day, Kobe Johnson had 241 all-purpose yards. Many of those yards thanks to big number 75, Dylan Radens. The Bison left tackle was named the conference offensive lineman of the week after NDSU, that is, averaged almost 7.5 yards a rush last week. Radens is the third Bison lineman in the past weeks to win the award for North Dakota State. My pregame chat with head coach Matt Entz. We talked about how well North Dakota State is playing football this time of the year. Matt, coaches always talk about trying to find their peak at this point in the season. As it gets later, you want to play better. You sure seem to be doing that.
Well, that's the goal. We've constantly and every day our kids have heard championship football or championship caliber football in the month of November, and just trying to elevate our game, make everything a little bit more important, detail our work, strain to finish drills, strain to finish games has kind of been the message for not only for myself but the staff, our seniors, our captains, and so we're trying to just take them one game at a time, but making sure that we're making them count.
You talk about the games, but I assume you mean practice as well. Practices have been phenomenal.
They've been really good. They've been focused. We've had good practices. You see guys are out there learning. We've tried to back off the length of practice because we are in a 12-game schedule this year. We still have 2 more games after today, and we need to make sure that we're as healthy as we can be going into late November.
Yeah, this is the time you certainly want to really play well. Western comes in, a team that has a little bit of fire. They got their first win, which they're excited about. They can throw the ball around on offense. Scare you at all?
Oh, of course they do. And then their tempo with that scares you as well. So they're doing some things that keep you on your heels or trying to keep you on your heels from a defensive standpoint. So we got to do a great job of, one, communicating the call today. We got to do a great job of having great eye discipline because there's going to be some trade shift in motion. It'd be great if the crowd was ultra loud today. Might affect their communication a little bit, but we got to play at our best. And again, I told our team on Monday that last time I checked, they had the same record we did last week, and that was 1-0. And so it's 2 undefeated teams going into this week.
Defensively, they really like to stack the box. They'd like, if they can, to take the run away from you. Is that the same thing you see?
Of course, yeah. They're a big quarters team. They don't pressure a bunch, but that's been the challenge for us offensively, is to see how each individual opponent attacks us. They all kind of tweak their base defense just a little bit, maybe copycat a little bit what the previous or someone else did that was successful. So in our openers, we need to identify, are they going to continue to be a quarters team and try to get 9 in the box and leave their corners one-on-one out there? If that's the case, then we need to probably create a way to take some shots.
Matt, good luck again this week.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
We are under 12 minutes to game time between the Leathernecks and the Bison. We head upstairs. We'll talk to the guys that'll call the game. They'll do that next as we get ready for football here inside the Fargo Dome.
Welcome back to the Farmers Union Insurance Bison Football pregame show. Elton Tom in the booth. Brian, Sean, Lee Timmerman, and Kyle Emanuel with you. Let's take a look at the Bobcat heavy lifting report, Kyle.
Yeah, well, I chose Christian Watson in this game, and I think Western Illinois, they have to sell out for the run. Now, I still think NDSU is going to be able to run the ball, but we saw last week he was able to hit a couple of plays deep with Trey Lance, finding him deep on some passing plays. So I think you could see him have an effect. There's a lot of guys, though, you could have picked in this game to have a really big effect on it.
I like how Watson and Lance have been going back and forth, and Christian's basically telling Trey, you can't throw it far enough for me not to run under it.
Right.
I don't know if that's the case, but they still have some pretty good banner.
I like the confidence. Either way, I like the confidence.
Now, Christian Watson averaging 19 yards per reception, so has been a big play guy that they clocked. He had GPS last week when he caught that 69-yard touchdown pass. Over 22 miles an hour is how fast he was running down the field. That is pretty close to NFL numbers, Kyle.
That's definitely NFL numbers. I was watching games last week, and that's what some of the guys were hitting was right around. Tyreek Hill hit about 22.7, so that's moving.
Time for the tunnel walk as the Bison leave the locker room and come out 9-0, winners of 30 straight games.
North Dakota State in the gold uniforms and the Harvest helmets on this 47th Harvest Bowl. It's November. It's Veterans Day weekend. Thanks to all of you that have served and continue to serve. Protect us here in the United States. We're back with the opening kickoff after this.
Less than 2 minutes to go on our Coors Light countdown clock here on the Farmers Union Insurance Bison Football Pregame Show. Let's get the final thoughts of our crew.
My final thought going into this game is to see how North Dakota State approaches first down. Tyler Roll said if you take away the explosive plays against Youngstown State, we were only 38% efficient running the football last week, so we want to get better at that here against Western Illinois at home.
I'm going to talk about the Bison defense, and in this season, this will probably be the simplest game plan that the defense has facing this Western offense. And as a former defensive player, you'll love that because it's line up and go. Just go get them. It's more simple backyard type of football, and they'll just turn the defense loose, and the Bison have been good. The one thing to look for, that'll be a little different twist, Jabril Cox will probably play some defensive end today in pass rushing situations.
It's not just a lopsided game on paper. It's a lopsided game on the field as well. North Dakota State, they are the better team, and I think they believe that if they can get guys into the game, substitutes, backups, get them into the game, it works really well for North Dakota State. If they can do that, it leaves them rested for the haul down the stretch. If they can't do that today and they've got to play their starters for 4 quarters, it really makes it a long haul as North Dakota State gets set for the end of the season.
When I look at this game, I think back to the Missouri State game, and all the talk I heard that week about how Missouri State had 1 win on the season, how this was going to be an easy game for the Bison. And as we all know, that was a dogfight, 15-0 going into the 4th quarter. I think you're going to see a Western Illinois team play with passion, play with energy. This is their Super Bowl. They have absolutely nothing to lose. So I think you might see a closer game than you might expect. But for me, the key to this game is going to be the NDSU defense against a Western Illinois offense that likes to go really fast and up-tempo. Now, if they can get off the field and tire out Western Illinois' defense and NDSU can sustain drives, I think you see an easy win for the Bison. If not, you might see a closer game, and it might be like Missouri State. However, I don't think that's going to happen. That's going to be the key for me in this matchup.